recommendation, but that's not, I mean...
Well, I mean, if you're going to ask for an extension to council, are you going to ask them for a date extension, or are you just going to ask for an extension?
I'd like to ask for a date extension.
But doesn't December 15th maybe make more sense? Because the 31st is after the holidays, or during the holidays, pretty much.
Well, I mean, I would actually argue, why not make it like in January, because everybody's so busy in December that, like, effectively the beginning of December is going to be used for all kinds of other things.
I agree. January 2014.
January...
31st.
January what?
31st?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, January 31st.
Okay.
2014. And I know that seems like a really long time, and we should submit comments as we go along, but this is an onerous document that needs careful review. Early review shows many, many gaps, even in the project description, which should have been a slam dunk. There are numerous things that are lacking or not characterized correctly or not described accurately or incredibly hard to visualize, like moving, you know.
I have a process question for us as a committee, and that's as we go through and we make our comments, what are we recording or how are we capturing the comments? Because I'd hate to go through them once and then go through them again, or have other people bring things up, and it would be great to have a thorough documentation of the comments, but also a reference that we can say, oh, okay, I see that was already brought up. I don't, you know, unless I have something to add, I don't have to, but I think it'll make our work more efficient.
So,
that's a really
Stuart,
good idea.
do you have recommendations on that?
Sure. I mean, I think we are working on a document to capture what was discussed, with chapters 1 and 2. And I think what the committee had talked about at their last meeting was that prior to the meeting, everybody would submit written comments that we would then distribute prior to the meeting to all the members. If that's still, I'm not quite sure if that's what you're talking about, Kima.
Yeah, I mean, if we had that, I think that would be ideal, because then we have the opportunity to see it before we come in and talk about it. But
right, but I think that, obviously that takes additional time from the committee members to write up their comments, provide them to staff in enough time to be able to gather them all and then send them out. So, but it's up to the committee and how you want to do that.
But they don't have to be beautiful. And I don't think every committee member will comment on every section either.
The other part that's challenging is sometimes I'm reading it and I'm like, whoa, I don't feel comfortable about that. I wonder what the other members would think, the people who know more about this thing or that thing. As I was reading it, I highlighted every single section where, I had questions about stuff. And so I wanted to, in some cases, get consensus about, is this an important comment? Is this an inconsistency that everyone else agrees with? That kind of thing. So
I'm open to any way you want to do this as a committee. I mean, we are doing our best to write down what you talk about. We will put it in some format. And I think right now, through chapters 1 and 2, I think Christina has about 4 pages worth of comments, page by page as we went through it. Mm-hmm. So, she's still working through that for chapters 1 and 2. Then based on what you say tonight, we would continuously add to that document. And my guess is by the time we're done, if chapters 1 and 2 took 4 pages, it'll probably be, 80, 90 pages worth of comments when all is said and done. But to me, that's, from my perspective, that's the logical way to do it.
Right.
I'm open to whatever method the committee would like to use.
Let me just throw this out here, and I'm sorry if this is too geeky of a solution or whatever. Maybe I'm bringing my day job in, but if we had, is it even permissible to have some sort of an online document or a shared resource that we can? No. Well, there we go.
No, only because if it's not available to the whole public, they don't know what you're discussing.
Can we make it available to the whole public? It's certainly possible to give ourselves the ability.
I would need to talk to our city attorney.
Okay.
Welcome to the sausage factory.
Well, so my thought is, if we had an online document, we wouldn't have to have the notes captured once when we put them in and then talk about them and then have them captured again. We could really kind of keep a living document as a group, and when people come across a particular section, they could, write it. We could even be in the form of annotated notes on the original DIR. So I don't know, I'm open, if anybody's open to exploring that, we could potentially find a solution like that, but just throwing it out there to the committee to see if people are interested in that.
I can almost hear the words right now that say, that is a violation of the Brown Act.
Right, that's what I'm concerned about.
Right. Well, and to be clear, it is possible to make it open to the public. So if you talk to them, ask them, under the condition that it be open to the public and people can see what our annotations and our notes are, would we be able to do something like that?
Kima, can you make it open to contribute just to us, but then open to view
Anybody?
for anybody?
Yeah.
I mean, people should be allowed to comment on it, just like they'd be able to comment at your meeting. I mean, that would be the concern, is
Right.
if people aren't allowed to comment, then you're not providing them the same opportunity that they would have at an open meeting.
Let me.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, would they just, could there be something that just like at each page that says, public comments will be taken at the meeting? Or is that not appropriate?
Well, the concern is that, I'll ask the attorney, but my concern is when you start talking online, you're having a meeting online.
That's correct.
Right.
So if you're having a meeting
Yeah.
online, you should treat it as if it's a meeting, and any meeting you would have, you would take comments.
So imagine a scenario where anybody in the public can read the document. Only we have the ability to edit the document, but people would be able to comment on the document. So the comments would not go into the document, but the comments would be listed there on the page that the document lives on.
Well, I think anything you would do would be commenting on the document, not editing the document.
Well, that's just the verb that he's using.
Well, there's a difference, because I think what he's talking about is rewriting the words in the document and then having people comment whether or not those words are appropriate,
Right.
as opposed to making a comment, and I'm thinking like a Word document where you have a review and you have when you do track changes, you could delete and add into the document, or you can comment. And I
Yeah.
think what you need to do, I think commenting on the document and then people commenting on the comments and then commenting on the comments. The challenge is how often, do people know when you're doing it?
Right.
There's a lot.
Okay.
The public process hasn't caught up to the public technology. For instance, you can't tweet during this meeting, and you can't receive tweets during the meeting.
Right.
Because
Now you tell us.
You must not be reading my Twitter feed.
I'm really not. Or people can't message you about what's going on.
Right.
Because that's not open to everybody in the public having the same access to the information that you have.
Okay.
So that's the Brown Act hasn't caught up
Okay.
to modern technology, and I don't think it ever will, because the idea is that you don't want people becoming exclusive in what's going on.
Okay. I mean,
But I'll
maybe
check.
maybe I can talk to you about this after the meeting, and maybe we could dive into it with a little more detail, because I actually work in this space in my day job, so we could explore options or at least have a conversation about it.
Yeah, it might make some sense. Our attorney is here tomorrow,
Okay.
so if you and I can maybe set up, I can give you a call when he's free,
Okay.
so we can further chat
Yeah.
about
Okay.
what the process might be.
Cool. I'm just trying to find a way to make it easier for us to all combine our thoughts without spending a lot of time on the paperwork shuffling part of it. So that's my thought.
I mean, I think if we all just put forward pages, phrases, and paragraphs we would like to discuss in the agenda, and then we can go ahead and discuss at the meeting, I think even that would go a long way to facilitating the process.
My concern is that people will have comments on, it's the same question we got into at the last meeting,
Yeah.
where, I think people will have comments on almost every page, and it'll be different people.
Yeah, I'm flipping through my book and going,
Yeah,
awful lot of yellow in
Yeah, I was
here.
gonna say, I sat next to Michelle during the meeting from Lloyd, and I just can't imagine that there's gonna be more than 3 pages in a row that, knowing how thoroughly you read it, that you're gonna find 3 pages in a row that you're not gonna have a comment, and somebody else will probably have a comment on the other 2.
Only if there's 3 blank pages in a row.
I was just going to say, just if it's a page that says this page is intentionally left blank.
Yeah.
Are there any of those?
No.
There are some
Oh.
in
There are a
the
couple.
chapters, yeah.
Even the maps, I was very
Right.
distressed. I made a comment on one map that is the color codes don't match the colors on the map, and I can't tell what it is. And so then what's the point?
Right. I mean, I understand the onerousness of this, of this task. I understand the idea of asking for more time. I apologize that, I think this is I think because we're in the public process. I think if you were not a council-appointed committee, it would be a lot easier.
Then we wouldn't have the same authority.
Well,
Well, we have no authority.
right, you would have the same authority because you're going to be making comments on it.
Yeah.
Just like anybody else from the public will be making comments on it. Other areas where you have more authority than, the draft EIR because you're appointed, but because you're appointed, you fall under different,
Process.
different rules than a private citizen would.
Okay. Dates.
Do you want to go through the dates now, or do you want to?
Well, I guess what I would like to do, if at the pleasure of the committee, is go through the tentative dates that we currently have on the calendar and see if those dates are okay and proceed as if we are not getting more time.
Yeah.
I think that's wise. Very
And then on our meeting, our next meeting, which is August 1st, by then we will hopefully know what the council's pleasure is, at least interim, and we can adjust the schedule accordingly. And we'll also have we probably won't have a better idea of how long it takes us to do stuff because we won't have delved into section 4 yet. But at least we'll have maybe a better framework from which to gauge the length of time it's going to take to
So
adequately review this.
I have calendars for this room through October 31st.
Okay. So,
Because we do have some conflicts of our proposed schedule with this room.
yeah.
One question, Stuart, do you also have handy the schedule for the sustainability meetings? Because I forgot my calendar, and I think there was one of these dates that clashed. There was this sustainability committee meeting and this meeting on the same night. I think it was on a Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesdays would probably, you're talking about August 14th? Or the
Could be.
18th?
Do we have a sustainability meeting that night?
No, it would be the 18th of September.
Okay, yeah. That was it.
Yeah, there is a potential sustainability committee meeting on the 18th. My guess is if you asked to move the sustainability committee, that would probably be easier.
Okay. So,
Part of it is I'm not here that week, so you're not going to have the same staff available on the 18th either way.
so let's just go through these one by one. The first next meeting date we have is scheduled for Thursday, August 1st. Going once?
I can do it.
Going twice?
fine.
Oh, one second.
That one's
sorry.
okay.
I wish Sean was here, but,
Sean is not really available until after the 5th is what he wrote in his email.
okay.
That's fine for me.
Okay, so August 1st is our next meeting. The one after that
And
is,
these are all at 6:30, sorry.
yes, except otherwise noted on Saturday, August 24th. Okay. The next one is Monday, August 5th,
And there's a conflict in this room.
which is,
The Citizens Committee, because there wasn't going to be a council meeting, they've booked this room for the August 5th.
okay.
Want to look at other dates for that week then?
We have to be in this room, I take it.
No, you don't have to be televised. We could record it, differently. It just wouldn't be televised. It wouldn't be replayable.
Well, this is August 5th.
Yes.
Can we bump them? I hate to ask that.
I can ask their chair.
Okay. Otherwise, we can meet on August 5th in the small conference room, and it won't be televised unless.
Right.
Yeah. So, August 5th, going once, going twice?
Fine.
Okay, August 5th. The next date is our regularly scheduled meeting, Wednesday, August 14th. Everybody good with that? Okay.
Fine.
The next date is a Saturday, August 24th. And I know that's hard because it's a weekend day. Every other day that week was full, except for August 23rd, a Friday, which is even less appealing. So, going once?
How long is it gonna be taking us? Because I have a conflict for that day.
I do not want us to meet for longer than 3 to 3.5 hours at a time, but because it is just too long to stay focused. So I would say that would be from
I put it down from 11 to 2,
11 to 2.
trying to get it done as early in the day as possible.
Yeah, it should be okay.
I may or may not be able to make that one.
5 to 8 at the yacht club? Sorry. 5 to 8 at the yacht club?
Yeah, 5 to 8 at the yacht club. So that one's questionable for Barbara. So we'll leave that as a questionable one, but probably.
We have plans, so, I mean, I don't think I can make that one. The odds are extremely poor I could make that one at all.
Okay. And I don't really like the idea of meeting on a Saturday, but, so let's see what the council says.
Unfortunately, if the numbers of chapter suggested topics line up with the weeks, is that your intention?
No, our intention is to adjust the chapters for when people are
Okay.
available who
'Cause-
most wanted to choose that chapter.
That's our 5th week, and the 5th topic is one of my topics, so we would need to.
Yeah, we'll
Do
move
some
around
shuffling.
on that. And the other thing is that we had the grouping document, so, next date we have is Thursday, August 29th.
That's fine.
Going once?
Yeah.
Going twice? Okay, that's a yes. And the next date is Wednesday, September 18th. That is our regular meeting.
And
If-
isn't that when we have the conference?
Well, the normal regular meeting would be the 11th. I believe you're out of town that day.
Oh, that's correct. I am
And
out of town.
The 18th is another one that the Citizens Committee is in this room. So we would have to ask them about how do we, especially if it's going to be our regular meeting, we'd want to be in this room. And they've moved before for our meetings,
Okay,
so we could ask.
all right. Because otherwise, I mean, you could meet without me on the 11th, but it's up to you. So, do you want to stay on the 18th? And, okay,
Let's talk about it later.
all right. And
Now
then,
we can say the 18th.
Okay. And then the last was Saturday, September 28th to finalize comments. And that one I think is questionable depending, I don't want to do another Saturday. And if we're allowed to extend the period where we'd be able to chew these off in better bites. And then, but otherwise, is Saturday, the 28th of September available for everyone?
Checking.
I have no conflicts at this time, but it being a Saturday, I'll likely come up with one.
Okay, so that's also questionable or dependent. Because the following Saturday is, of course, the Family Festival, which I would hope everyone would plan to attend and have our booth and everything.
The day in the park.
Day in the park, or whatever it's called now.
Hopefully we'll all be working in the booth together.
Yeah. Or our booth will be right next to Mountain Watch booth, and I can put one foot in each.
Nice.
Okay, so then, the other topic we looked are the groupings of the chapters together. So did you all get a chance to look at that? So we have air quality and greenhouse gases together, aesthetics and visual resources and biological resources together, cultural resources, public service, and recreational services together, land use and planning policy and traffic and circulation together, utilities, service systems and water supply and energy resources together, hazards and hazardous materials and surface water and hydrology.
So, all these topics seem really this seems like a very, sensible groupings topically, but did you guys, count the number of pages that each of those would, cover so that we did not double up, say, two enormous chapters for
Nope.
a big whammy?
We did
Okay.
not. We grouped them
See if I can do
together
that very quickly.
by subject matter. And what I was going to say is that if we have an opportunity to extend, then we might not take quite such an aggressive stance and be able to cover things more thoroughly. But we really were focused on grouping them together by kind of subject matters.
I had a couple quibbles with that because now I sent this to Stuart. He seemed to indicate I shouldn't be sending it to the rest of the committee, so I didn't.
Okay.
But greenhouse gas emissions can go with traffic
Okay.
as well as air quality. I mean, there may need to be, several different overlaps in here.
Exactly. I mean,
So we have basically four and a half meetings scheduled to review the document at this point in time with 8 different sections. So, if we want to take, section 1 and section 4 together on one day, that way you get them all together, that might make sense. My guess is we won't be done in 3 hours, and, bringing in donuts might help. Donuts and caffeine, right?
I hate donuts and I don't do caffeine.
I think,
Red Bull.
that's poisonous. Bring that on the toxin night.
I think the greenhouse gas chapter is gonna engender a lot of comments, or discussion at any rate. The traffic and circulation, I have a feeling it's gonna be crazy. So those two, I don't know if we're gonna be able to double up on with anything.
What I meant was when you're talking about greenhouse gases, those are partly produced by traffic and they're related to energy generation on the site. So I don't know that you would necessarily have to do the whole shootery together. But when you're talking about greenhouse gases, it doesn't make sense to exclude traffic from that discussion. That's all I mean. Okay?
I guess I'm just kind of thinking that we could wait, neither one of those would make for a good first topic from chapter 4, I don't think.
Oh.
Because I think they're gonna be very difficult.
We haven't decided
Okay.
this is just how they went together. We sort of divvied them up going, A, B, C, D. It's not the
Right.
order in which we think we
Right.
should do them.
Okay, all right, that sounds good.
Housing is not one of the sections.
Wasn't it?
Population and housing, yeah.
Oh, population and housing. Did we miss population and housing? No, it's section D, and it should be with
Did I
land
miss
use
it?
and planning.
I missed it.
Whoa,
I'm sorry.
we did miss it. Yeah, good call. Yeah, land use and, I'm sorry, population and housing was to be with,
Number 4.
Oh, you know what it is?
what,
I have it on the sheet as by itself.
you do?
I have it as K. No, never mind. I'm talking to myself.
Okay,
Never mind.
You're kidding yourself.
I'm just talking to myself. Okay.
It was supposed to
I
be with
apologize.
land use and planning policy and traffic and circulation. Be- Yeah, each one of these is a
Yeah.
lot.
and yeah, it's enormous.
Because there are, 16 sections, Stuart? 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
M is letter 13, and P would be 16.
Yeah. So, if anybody has any other ideas on how to cram more stuff into less time, we're open to it.
Just to the extent that we can write stuff up in advance. That's the only,
But it
Idea
still
that I
needs
have.
to be reviewed by everybody, or,
yeah,
Yes,
but you know,
no?
you can also say, yeah, this looks, oh, this is okay,
okay.
right? Yeah,
Okay.
you know, I agree with all this.
And
So
when you-
maybe then what you do is maybe you write the comments for the next week that we can distribute ahead of time. Nah, it doesn't, yeah, I don't know if that works any better. Never mind. Talking to myself again.
Well, when I was going through section 3, I kept thinking, how would I do this? Because I'll just pick one out at random. Okay, on page 3-8. This is under project description. It says, after the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, the area west of the rail corridor was filled in primarily with demolition rubble. As it turns out, that's not true. And there's photographic evidence that Chris Hart has that says that's not true. And this is a major part of the project description. And so how do I write this out? I would say, oh, go to page 3.8, then I would have to type this sentence and say, this is not true. Can you please explain what makes you think this is true, and here's the evidence that shows that it's not true?
So the other way to do it is page 3.8, first sentence, first full sentence, first paragraph. Question the veracity. And that way it would give you enough information to have a conversation at this meeting.
But that's the point, is do we need to have a conversation about that, or do I just say, that's not true?
Yeah, just page 3-8, third line, primarily with demolition rubble, not true, C, blah, blah, blah.
Right. And then
Yeah.
down in paragraph, do you call that paragraph 4? Second to bottom line, it says, after the closure of the landfill in 1967, the area was buried with a 20 to 30-foot cover of soil and has been used for soil and construction material recycling since the 1980s. It was not covered with 20 to 30 feet of soil. I mean, show me the document that says it was. And there is no footnote there that says, look in some appendices. And this is where I'm having a problem, even in the project description. I have these kind of yellow question marks on every single page. It says here, the majority of the project site, this is on page 3-7, first paragraph. The majority of the project site is flat or gently sloping towards the bay with an elevation range of 10 to 50 feet above mean sea level. Really? Show me.
No.
Because that's not what it looks like to me, especially now that they put a big, huge, massive pile of dirt there that's well higher than 50 feet above sea level. And it's certainly not sloping towards the bay. And it goes on and on. Even something that should not, the map doesn't even agree with what they say on section 3.4, paragraph 2. The Visitation Valley neighborhood of San Francisco adjoins the northwestern border of the Brisbane Baylands. No, it doesn't. There's stuff in between. It does not.
What's in between? I'm just curious.
If you look at the map, you'll see that there's land in between, and there's nowhere where the neighborhood actually adjoins. There is one row on one tiny part right here. If you look at map on page 3.5, there is one point right here where it adjoins Old Bay Shore that's not a residential neighborhood. And the rest of it, no. Yeah, pardon?
So I apologize for this, Michelle. I'm actually not taking notes on what you're writing now for the comments. I think, are you just using
Illustrations. So how should we
Okay.
go through this, Stuart? This is what I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
And I need to ask the rest of the committee.
Right, it's up to the committee. I would say that, I think unfortunately, a page-by-page review might be the best way to try and, put this out. And, I think, the question is how do you get those kinds of things down on paper? I don't think there's an easy way. My perspective is that it's going to be less time consuming for people to write their notes in their book and just talk about it as they get there. Because otherwise it's going to be a process of retyping everything, and then having everybody read everybody else's comments, which will be time consuming. The question is where do you want to spend your time? Do you want to spend it?
I want to spend it reading, not typing.
I have it easy because I'm just here to capture whatever comments you have. So it's really, as I say, it's up to you. And I understand what Kima's saying is if you can do something online, it might make that easier. But I'm just, as I said, I have to talk to the attorney to see.
And that's fine. I'm not worried about that. I think any effort that we can make in getting our comments to each other sooner means that we can talk about the salient points, and then the parts that everybody agrees on, or there's no at least that there's no need for additional comments, we can just move forward with it. To me, it does seem like our job is to find all of those things that are inconsistent with our understanding. Like, if it says it's 1 to 10 feet high above sea level and there's a pile of 50-foot high stuff, then that would be something we would say, this is my comment. It does not seem this way to me, or whatever it is. And then we submit that comment for them to reply about. Right? In a nutshell.
That's exactly what we will be doing.
That times 18 billion.
Right. That's where I figure we'll probably have 80 to 100 pages worth of comment.
Right.
And the question I think Michelle is raising is what expedites that conversation the best. And as I said, I'm not sure because my style I think is a lot like Michelle's, where I'll see something, I'll put a footnote on it, I'll write a note on my sheet of paper, and it's easier for me to explain what I'm thinking than to write what I'm thinking.
And then are you going to be able to capture all of those verbal comments into a written document that we can then review?
Yes, that's what our goal is.
Okay. So
that's why I have 2 days worth of reviewing comments, because I think it'll
Right.
take you 2 days to make sure that we've actually captured comments in the way you want us to capture comments.
Okay, but if we go page by page, things like that you were saying that are inconsistent really don't need to be discussed. They just need to be captured.
yes, but some people might have more additional information to add, like, yes, I agree with that, or Michelle, you're imagining that, and I don't think that's worth spending time on. Questions down at this end? Mary? Because then we would have also time to kind of discuss the overall.
Yeah.
We would have time to discuss the overall, we do need to discuss the overall document, but it brings everybody on the same page when we go through it page by page and then discuss, wow, the characterizations of Chapter 3 of the project description are really not accurate. Does that mean then the research that went into what they're going to do in certain sections is not accurate as well?
Well, yeah, all they did was these people did a literature review. They didn't do any original, they did some modeling.
Yeah, did
But they didn't take a
samples?
soil sample. They didn't, I guess they did a walk. I think they did a walk. I think they walked the site in April. But, yeah, so this is a literature review. Yeah, anyway.
Okay, and Barbara?
No comments.
Okay, so,
Page by page.
so I'd still like then to go ahead and Mary, I'd love to hear your overarching comments about Chapter 3 before we delve into the nitty-gritty, page by page. problems with Chapter 3. Yes, Stuart?
So, did we decide what was going to be talked about on August 1st?
Oh,
I'm sorry. I figured if we could at least get August 1st so everybody knows what to read.
okay.
I would,
And then you get to the question at the moment is that we've got what I think is like 4.5 days worth of meetings to cover 8 topics. 8 topic areas, which would be, the 16 topics. So you might actually have to double up on that. And I think if you write a schedule for council so that way council can understand that this is not doable, that will make your case stronger when you ask for an extension and say, so if you could fill out this and say, yeah, this is what we would need to do in order to meet your October 8th timeframe. We're meeting every week. We're meeting 3 hours every week. And it still means that we probably won't have everything done. Whereas if you give us an extra 8 weeks, we can then stretch this out. And here would be a more reasonable way to do it. I think that memo to council will make sense.
good point.
And so, I would say spending a little bit more time on that aspect at the moment and not, if we don't get all the way through chapters 3 and 7 tonight, because at the rate I'm dragging you guys through this, I don't think we will. But I think that's also telling.
Yeah.
Is that, you say, we've gone through 3 different chapters. The 3 chapters each took an hour each. So, in order to get through all of this, we would need 30 hours worth of time. And we're trying to squeeze it into 15 hours. Things like that in the memo and things like that for the chairperson to talk about to council, I think will be as persuasive as possible.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. So let's, glad I brought the big boy with,
I have a suggestion,
yeah.
because I just read the section on aesthetics and visual resources. And,
Just right now?
yeah, while I'm sitting here.
Wow.
And it's very interesting. I think in some ways it'll be easy to look over. I mean, they did do this modeling, or I guess Diet and Bhatia did the modeling. And these pictures are really something. So I actually think that would be a good one to start with. And I don't see why you couldn't put it with biological resources.
Okay. I have a lot of comments about,
The biological resources?
actually about the aesthetics and visual resources.
Oh, okay.
Because even in the project description, numerous times they talk about Brisbane's viewshed.
Oh, yeah.
But we are part of a larger community. And one of the greatest joys that I have, well, I wouldn't say it's one of the greatest joys, but one of my consistently happy moments on a regular basis is when I'm coming home from after a long, grueling day at work, and I come down Bay Shore, and I see the mountain, and I smell the mountain, and then as I'm driving on down Bay Shore, and I'm looking at the mountain and checking out the weather and the fog, and while I'm also paying attention to my driving, but that moment when you come down and see the mountain, and already the view shed from Bay Shore and from the bay is being destroyed by the piles of dirt. I can only imagine what it's going to be like when there's giant buildings there. And also, I sail a lot, and from the bay, there's really horrendous, impacts for the views. And I've been in communication with Brad Block, who represents the windsurfers at Candlestick Point, and they're extremely upset about all of this.
There may be a lot of comments, but what I hear from Mary is it's an easier read. It may be an easier read
No.
sections.
No, I don't.
Oh.
I don't.
I thought you said it was compelling. That's what I.
It's not. There's a lot of pictures, so it's not as long as it looks. But I think it's a good starting point.
I mean,
I
I think it'll help. I think it'll help us conceptualize the projects that are discussed.
I mean, what I was hearing from you is that would be what you would suggest for August 1st.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to interject and take this committee off course briefly. I just did my best to total up the number of pages we got to review for each thing.
Okay.
And most of them are pretty manageable, except for, I mean, pretty consistently large, let's put it that way. Except for number 4, land use, traffic, and population comes to 249 pages or something, which is about twice the size of most of the other groupings. And so I think that maybe...
Do you have the page counts for each group, each
I
section?
do. I
A,
did the-
B, C, D?
Yeah, unfortunately, I did it by the titles and not by the section,
Okay.
because what was given here on the list was the titles and
Yeah,
not
because we had
numbers.
this list too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I used this one, so
Okay.
I could collate that really quickly. So air quality was 52, greenhouse gases was 23, aesthetics was 42, biological resources was 73, cultural resources was 35. You guys want me to keep reading?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Public services was 32, recreational services 26, land use and planning 54, traffic and circulation 151, and population and housing 34. I lost my place.
Utility service systems.
There we go. 59 for utilities. Energy resources 20. I boggle at how that can be a short chapter.
But it's per capita, my dear.
Yes, and traffic and circulation is obviously the most important issue. So hazards and hazardous materials 102. Surface water and hydrology 39. Geology 51.
And that covers it. Oh, no, noise and vibration.
36. And then alternatives was 66, and growth-inducing blah, blah, blah was 52. So,
Well, yeah, I think traffic and circulation is going to be its own topic. You know, I don't think we're going to be able to
I think we
smush that up with something else.
I think we might I was going to say we might be able to lump something small within it, like
Yeah.
greenhouse gas emissions or energy resources, but
I think there are times when some of these are going to get brought up more than once, for
yeah,
instance.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Yes,
Absolutely. I was just
absolutely.
thinking in terms of how much reading we're all obligated to and making it palatable as possible.
Well, and I was thinking about how they went together in terms of,
Both are, yeah.
and
absolutely
the
valid.
page-by-page comments that we're going to need
Yeah.
to make as well.
And so I think what you did works fine, except for number 4, which is just too much.
Yeah, so we just take out traffic and circulation and put that in a separate group.
That leaves us with a really small one.
Which one? Land use planning, policy, and
Those are
population
both relatively
housing?
small, yeah. So,
Yeah, but they're long subjects to discuss.
Yeah.
all right. Well, I mean, these are all long subjects in their own
Yeah.
right. Just from a practical, from a numerical perspective, could we move land use and planning somewhere else? And still have it make sense?
Move it maybe with aesthetics and visual resources? 'Cause I mean, I think, do they go together? I don't know, but
One of the things that really goes together about aesthetics and visual resources and biological resources is that aesthetics and visual resources talks about light, the impact of the addition of light.
okay.
And that's gonna have a big bird impact.
Yeah, I was just thinking the land use and planning drives
I know.
the aesthetic.
But there's gonna be a lot of overlap.
There will be.
Yeah.
Or you just say, take traffic circulation out by itself, and now you have 9 topics to try and,
That's what I said.
Squeeze into
Take
4.5.
that out, and
I think so.
by itself, it's going to be a,
and the suggestion that I had was maybe at your August 14th meeting, you'd take on one chapter. Maybe traffic and circulation might be that one chapter on August 14th.
Okay, that works for me.
Okay.
Because, what I was thinking was that you had, August 1st for chapters to be available, August 5th, one chapter on the August 14th because you had other things you were going to probably do that day, then August 24th. So now we're down to, 8 things in 3 days because I don't know if we're actually going to, or 9 things in 3 days because I don't know if we're actually going to get through anything tonight if we want to go home by 9.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I have an early day tomorrow.
Okay, do we have a plan for August 5th?
For August 5th?
So far I've heard aesthetics and visual resources along with the biological resources.
That's August 1st.
Oh, August 1st, you're right.
Okay. Monday, August 5th. Anybody have something they want to definitely go over that night?
Recognizing Sean will not be here.
Huh?
Sean will not be here then either, I don't believe.
Oh, so we can't do geologies, we can't do utilities.
Right.
And should we, well,
I'm guessing the biological resources discussion will segue into the Monday, August 5th meeting.
It's possible.
but for the purpose of our current scheduling to show to the city council, we need to choose one, so let's choose one, or choose one of these categories. Do you want to do
Wait a minute,
Oh.
when are we gonna do chapter 7?
chapter 7? Oh, right.
The ones
Are
for
we gonna
tonight.
finish chapters 3 and 7? I mean,
Yeah.
we're not gonna
Okay.
get done with that tonight.
So I think chapter 7 needs to move way out past all of this stuff to the end.
Okay.
And the reason why is, once we do all the rest of the work, chapter 7 will make more sense. Because I
you
read
wanna,
chapter 7, and you really need to understand what all the charts and mitigation measures are, and until we read all of this, it's putting the cart
Yeah,
before
it
the
doesn't
horse.
make sense to, I think we're going to comment on all those mitigation measures.
Right,
In the,
right. So,
yeah,
we're moving chapter 7 down to,
Yeah.
way later.
yeah, and I think that's going to be a general discussion too, because we'll already have specific comments on all those mitigation measures.
And we already know how we feel about our definitions of sustainability,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Okay. So Stuart, we're gonna not discuss chapter 7 tonight. We're gonna put that down at the end of, after alternatives.
Glenn, you're making
impact
faces.
overview.
I think we could do it with traffic.
I'm sorry, I
Chapter
was
7,
making
no.
faces.
California is one great state, but it hasn't been a walk in the park. They call me invasive species. Nice, huh? Or hungry pests. I mean, do I look invasive? You should think of me as a culinary tourist. People help me get around, mostly on the things they move and pack. Gotta run. I do have a lot of mouths to feed.
Hungry pests threaten to devour California's trees and crops. Leave hungry pests behind. Go to hungrypests.com.
The open plains of the asphalt jungle. Home to many creatures great and small, and the popping ground for one of the most clever and illustrious creatures, the plastic bag. Today we explore the cycle of life for this curious creature, the plastic bag, on its migration to its home, the Pacific Ocean. Once released into the wild, the plastic bag is unsure of itself. It falters at first. But soon, with some help from the wind, the bag will be airborne. This flight will be the first in its long journey towards its final destination, the garbage patch in the heart of the Pacific Ocean. Using the wind to guide it, the plastic bag moves across the city through the air. A city park. This park may at first seem an idyllic place for the plastic bag, but danger lurks round every corner. Here it will encounter many enemies, including one of the most dangerous, park services. Poor little fellow. Looks like his journey ends here. Meanwhile, our little bag has encountered one of nature's most deadly killers, the teacup Yorkie. Once the Yorkie has locked onto its victim, there's very little hope of survival. But using its superior size and deft maneuvering, our bag manages to escape the Yorkie's talons and flee for its life. Over the course of its miraculous migration, the plastic bag will cover vast distances through neighborhoods, across parks, and down city streets. It is now nightfall, and our highly advanced night vision cameras have managed to capture for the first time in history a plastic bag in pitch black. Phenomenal. The vast cement rivers of California, home to literally dozens of animals. Many plastic bags will not make it out of here. The reeds and branches will see to that. As at home in water as it is on land or in the air, the bag's natural buoyancy makes it an excellent swimmer. It's close now, and it can feel it. At last, the bag has reached the gateway to the open sea. Careful to avoid the mouths of hungry sea life that feed on the helpless plastic, the bag will travel hundreds of miles to join the thriving community of plastic known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Garbage Patch is a veritable plastic oasis where millions of tons of plastic garbage remain trapped by the currents. It is said to be twice the size of Texas. Never actually biodegrading, here the plastic bag can live indefinitely, peacefully coexisting with billions of other petroleum species before breaking into ever tinier plastic pieces, thus completing the plastic cycle of life.
Bye.